118 views. Jesus Christ. I should do this again, guys. Oh, I am doing it again? Shit. Welcome back to another awesome video. Today I will be showing you a tier list for the big vehicles in Base Wars because I'm bored as heck and I need something to do. Awesome, so there's my 1000 by 1000 canvas that we all know and love today. Let's add some text right there. Change it to like that. Damn it. High damage. Low damage. Then we have well rounded. There. Has faults over here. Perfect. I know well-rounded's kind of off-center a little bit, but we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna deal with it for a little bit. So we're just gonna go down the line right here. Let me pull out all of the vehicle screenshots. Perfect. So we're gonna start out with the spawn truck. So the spawn truck here, of course, has like literally no damage and has a lot of faults, so we're gonna put that over there. Alright, awesome. We already got the spawn truck out of the way. We are making excellent progress right here. Alright, spawn truck out of the picture. So I'm just gonna use a screenshot that Pinzer has given me because I don't think I have all of the screenshots for everything. But we're going to try. Awesome. So next we're just gonna use a helicopter carrier. Perfect heli carrier. This is just gonna start using screenshots that Pinzer gave me. Heli carrier has bad damage and also has faults, but it doesn't have no damage. So we're gonna put that right above the spawn truck. Heli carrier, its faults are its angle limitation, so if you don't have more than one person in the heli carrier, you have to like constantly switch seats and all of that to shoot people. So has a lot of faults and almost has no damage, so we're gonna put that over there. Next up is a submarine. So submarine, I'm gonna have to move this around a little bit. I'll just make like a quick like 10-second update video when submarine gets primary weapons. Right now it still has no damage, so I'd say it has more damage than the heli carrier. Well, heli carrier can do some decent damage to some things, but submarine has faults because it's useless against a bunch of things. So doesn't have as many faults as the heli carrier because of the secondary weapons now. So we're gonna put that right. Here. I'm gonna say submarine has a little bit more damage than heli carrier. Right there. Going up the line, we have Speedboat. So the Speedboat, of course, has more damage than all of these guys. It has nice mobility, but it also doesn't have very good damage against land vehicles. So I'm just gonna put it right dead center right there. It's not super good. It's not super bad. It has good mobility, but it can't damage land vehicles very well. And it can damage aircraft, which is why it's more well-rounded than the submarine. It can damage aircraft better. But at the same time, it can't damage navy, so I'm gonna put this a little bit over here. A lot of people say that the submarine has more, a submarine I believe has more mobility. So I'm gonna put this right here for now. I think they have the same well-roundedness, which is not very right there for now. I know we're like going up a little staircase right there. I'm gonna fix that very soon, I promise, guys. Destroyer. Let me see. The destroyer has much more damage but also has like really bad mobility. So we're gonna put this guy over right here. Has some faults because its projectiles are slow. With the exception of flak, it doesn't really counter anything, which is a big part of base wars, which I do not like. It has damage, which is nice. Has damage, not too much, but above average damage. Let me see. Is there any other Navy vehicles that I'm missing? No, ATV. ATV has some of the best mobility in the game, ironically. So, let's start in the middle right now. Let's go through everything. ATV has low damage, has a lot of mobility. So, not the best mobility in the game, so we're gonna put this right here. Over here. There we go. Pretty well rounded, ironically. Because it can fly, basically. It can fly itself to river pass if you're good enough. It can, like, do backflips in the air. Very, very versatile. It can go through enemy bases very well, as demonstrated by Jason5181 ramming basically the entire BW Pro population. So it's gonna go right here. Not the best damage in the game. I'm gonna say a little less. I'm gonna say over a little higher than this, a little lower than that. That's its damage right now. And I'll just put you right here. Not the most well-rounded thing in the game, but not the worst thing in the game. Not the worst thing. Let me see. What do we have here? We're gonna save the really, really good vehicles for last. So, Battle Tank. Battle Tank has some pretty good damage. I like it. I like it. Its faults, however, are... doesn't have the best... Like, it doesn't have the best anti-air in the game. So, basically, here's my argument for its has faults. It can't aim straight upward unless you're in the secondary slot. And if you are in the secondary slot, then people can just go behind you and shoot your back because you won't be able to move around anymore, which is its fault. So it doesn't have its projectiles. It can one-shot an attack helicopter with AP shells, so that's a really big thing. But at the same time, it doesn't stand a chance against anti-vehicle turrets unless you're really good, or the anti-vehicle turret is really bad. So it has some faults, not as much as Destroyer. Destroyer has more because of its mobility issues. So I'm gonna put this guy right here. Above average damage. Not the best mobility, not the worst either, not the worst mobility, but you see where I'm going with this. Let me see. Tracker Fighter, our first aerial vehicle. No. Let's go Jeep. Let's go Jeep and then Tracker Fighter. Jeep right here. Jeep has really high mobility. And alright damage. That has alright damage. I'm going to say it has average damage. So we're going to put above average. I'm going to put above average damage because it has some pretty good damage against aerial vehicles. But against Navy, it's kind of lacking. Against other land vehicles, it's also kind of lacking. It relies on its mobility too much. So if you have good aim, then if you're in an artillery and you have good aim, or if you're in a tank, if you have good aim, you're gonna win against a Jeep. So Jeep is pretty well rounded in terms of mobility, not the highest damage in the game. We're gonna put this, no, not the most well rounded thing in the game. We're gonna put this over here. There we go. Now we can go into our aerial vehicles. The Bomber. So the Bomber, no, not the Bomber, the Tracker. Bomber is next. Tracker Fighter. It has really high damage, especially for an aerial vehicle. It has really high damage. Mobility is kind of lacking, and it's also really big, so below average well-roundedness. Right there. Right off the bat. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to take the background, fill it in again. Oh god! Control A, grab my paint bucket, do that, and then paint bucket? Or do I have to, like, manually paint over them? I don't know what I need to do. I'm just gonna manually paint over it. I'm getting tired of this. Let me see. Perfect. Then add a new layer. Slap it all the way at the top. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. There we go. Now, add the text. Change back to black. High damage. Boom. Low damage. Well rounded. And has faults. There we go. Now it's a little more visible.
Are you actually making a base rules tier list?
Yes, I've already made one and it got a lot of views, so I'm just gonna do it again, you know, dude? It works, it works. And now I'm going to take the liberty of moving Jeep a little bit down. Or not, okay. There. Moving Jeep a little bit, nah, it still covers it a little bit, so. Also, it has above average damage. What's next? What's next? What did I say was next? Oh yeah, let me continue with Tracker. So Tracker over here, really high damage, especially if you have Obliterator, rocket pods, locust cannons, the 24mm handgun, and really high damage. Big target though, like, you could casually be shot out of the sky with this thing. You'll lose to Vortex. You basically lose to every other aerial vehicle. Maybe except for non-tier 5 attack heli. But, you know, we're gonna get to that, guys. We're gonna get to that. Next up is the bomber. So the bomber, alright. The bomber over here. So I have been humbled by the Bomber King, Matty Gagar. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, I probably did. The Bomber King over here showed me up with his awesome tailgun skill. So it has anti-air abilities, which is nice, but it's left at really low HP. So unless you're near a spawn, that's a huge thing for me, because you can't go and reliably kill other people without being one-shotted by a lot of the vehicles you're supposed to be good at destroying. So that's a bad thing. So its damage is pretty above average. Its mobility is good. However, when you're shot, it hurts a lot. So, and your mobility isn't good enough to dodge other shots to go back to a respawn area. So you're gonna die a lot if you use this thing. So that's my reasoning for putting it over here. It has above average damage. I'm gonna say even more damage. No, not as much damage as it. I'm gonna say not as much damage as the Destroyer, because we're incorporating all tiers here. Alright, star of the show, not really. Got him. Attack Helicopter over here. Attack Helicopter has insane damage, like almost as much damage as Tracker. I think it even has more damage than the Tracker sometimes, so I'll keep it even. Has much better mobility than the Tracker. It's just a better Tracker sometimes, you know? Sometimes a better Tracker, depending on how you like to fly. Sometimes a better Tracker. Good damage. Pretty good mobility. And its only problem is that the tier 5 projectiles are kind of slow. So you have to almost guess where people are going to be sometimes, which can be kind of hard instead of educated guesses. So there's that right there. Perfect. Up next is the Shadow Fighter. So the Shadow Fighter has more mobility than the Attack Helicopter and more range, believe it or not. I'm sorry for the old picture. It's I know it's outdated, but you get the idea. Doesn't have the best damage. It has less damage than the Attack Helicopter. So we're gonna put this person right there. Less damage. Less damage, more mobility, not less mobility, more mobility, so that's why it's right here. And a higher projectile velocity on a lot of its primary cannons, so you can just sit in the stratosphere and actually shoot people really well. I'm not sure why this is not the meta, but you get the idea. Boom, right there. Shadow Fighter. I'm gonna actually make more room a little bit for another guy. So right there is pretty good now. Right there is pretty good for now. Next up is the Black Tank. So the Black Tank right here, also known as the Mac Tank, but I like to call it the Black Tank. The Mac Tank has a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I'm telling you, that's a lot of damage. Pretty mobile too, pretty mobile. It can kill a lot of things really effectively. So we're gonna shove this guy right up here. Do I think it has more damage? I'm gonna say the Mac Tank is ridiculous in its tiers and its ability to kill anti-vehicle turrets and anti-aircraft turrets, which is why I'm gonna put it up here with high damage. So I'm gonna put it right here for now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it right here. Actually, ooh, this is hard. Because I want to put two other things right here. You know, I'm gonna move the shadow a little bit this way. I don't think it's that good. And I'm going to move the attack heli over a little bit. Because it can still get shot out of the sky really easily if you have good aim. And then the tracker. Where is the tracker? There's a tracker. I'm just going to move the tracker over a little bit more. So then I can move the attack heli over more. And then I can move the Black Tank over a little more. There we go. And then this is how much I'm going to move it by. There we go. Alright, next on my list of things to tear up is the artillery. Artillery, oh boy. This is a fun one. Artillery has a lot of damage against a lot of things. It's pretty well rounded. I'm gonna say artillery, it has less damage than the Mac Tank, and here's why. Artillery has better anti-air abilities than the Mac Tank because you can shoot people out of the sky with one shot. You can take them by surprise. The Mac Tank can damage more things more effectively. It can damage tanks more effectively. It's much more mobile than the artillery. Much more mobile than the artillery for the amount of damage it has. So I'm going to put the artillery actually over here a little bit. This is where it starts to get a little iffy. I'm going to change this so Mac Tank goes down, artillery goes up on the damage scale. The Mac Tank is going to go right here. It's much more mobile than the arty. But the arty also has pretty high damage too. I'm going to say move everything down a little bit. So, oh, no, not you, not you, not you. Battle tank, you can go down a little bit. Where's my bomber? Bomber, bomber, bomber. Bomber, you can go down. Destroyer. You can go down. Shadow can, of course, go down a lot more. Mac Tank's gonna go down a little bit. It's gonna go right. It's gonna go up and that way. And the artillery can go that way. Because artillery has pretty high damage. And it can damage more things faster than the attack helicopter now. Such as turrets. Anti-vehicle turrets, anti-aircraft turrets. Artillery is really good at killing that. While aerial vehicles are not good at killing those kind of things. Oh god, that's no good. That's not that. No. There we go. So I'm gonna say the tracker has less damage than the attack helicopter. Not by a lot, just a little bit. And of course, it's not very mobile. Artillery is more well-rounded than an attack helicopter because it has more HP. It can tank a lot more stuff now since the buff. So that's why it's more well-rounded. Not as well-rounded as the Mac tank or the Jeep, because Mac tank and Jeeps have mobility, which is a huge thing in well-roundedness. And the real star of the show, enter the Vortex. Oh, no. Enter the Vortex. So basically, the Vortex has the best mobility in the game. Hands down, the best well-roundedness in the game. Hands down, not the best damage in the game. Doesn't have as much damage as people think it does. I'm gonna say it's on par with the Shadow in damage. Because it can deal more damage to aerial targets much better. It can take out aerial targets with relative ease. By far the best vehicle in the game if you know how to fly it. It's just a really good vehicle. It doesn't have a lot of damage. That's not why it's good. It has above average damage. No, actually, hold up. Let us think this through a little bit. Vortex is extremely good because it's extremely well-rounded, not because it has a lot of damage. I'm gonna say it has Speedboat damage. I'm gonna take a liberty here and say it has Speedboat damage. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take out Vortex real quick. Can flatten all the layers real quick. Where's my flatten? Image. There we go, flatten. It's not in layers. Control A, Control C, File, New, Width, like that. And then Control V. This is where Vortex is, guys. This is where Vortex is. Vortex is way over here. Vortex is much better than... Oh, no. Oh. Ah! Vortex is way over here. This is where Vortex is, guys. This is where Vortex is. All the way over there. Not the best damage in the game, because the Bomber deals more damage than to a bunch of targets than Vortex does. Speedboat deals more damage to aircraft than Vortex does. Jeep one-shots a bunch of things, a bunch of aerial vehicles. Battle tank does more damage to Mac tank. It does more damage to a bunch of other things. Artillery does more damage to boats than Vortex does. Attack helicopter just does a lot of damage to everything. Vortex struggles in the damage department. I'm gonna take a liberty here and say that. The reason why it's good, of course, is because of its mobility. I've said this a ton of times. Vortex is the best vehicle in the game. Hands down. So well-rounded, it doesn't need any assist or backups. Like, Speedboat would need an artillery to back it up. An artillery would need probably like a battle tank or something to back it up. Like, there's a bunch of combos. Like, if you have two people and they're in the correct vehicles, you can dominate a server. They just can't be in the same vehicle. The only way people can be in the same vehicle and dominate a server is if you guys are in Vortex. Because what you can do then is you can sweep everything. You can just sit in the air and rain hell on a bunch of boats. And in case there's an arty, you just double team it. One person may die. So what? You still take care of the artillery. It's just so good, and it doesn't need any assists to back it up. It's just so nice, which is why it's good. Like, tracker fighter would need a tank to take out artilleries, or an artillery to take out anti-aircraft turrets. Vortex, you can just lag an anti-aircraft turret with a 20mm HE machine gun. You can just lag out anti-aircraft turrets to the point where it's shooting like one anti-aircraft flak thingy per 5 seconds. You can just shoot the back of a battle tank. If the artillery is not competent, you can just fly around it at like the speed of light. You can defy gravity with Vortex much better than you can defy gravity with Tracker or Shadow Fighter. And Bomber can't even defy gravity. Its ability to hover in midair and just VTOL and not being able to be hit by incompetent people is just to the point where it's insane. So Vortex is over here. Vortex is over here. Way over here. In fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a text that says Vortex right here. This is how well-rounded Vortex is, folks. Right there. At Vortex. There we go. So this is my tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's hope this video gets a ton of views like the other one did, because that's the second big reason why I'm making this. The first big reason is I'm bored as hell. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you agree, leave a like. If you disagree, also leave a like. If you agree, leave a comment. If you disagree, also leave a comment. And if you're new here, subscribe. If you're old here, subscribe on an alt account. And I will see you guys all later. It's been your boy Pickle. Peace out.